Welcome, everybody, back to Summer of Gaming. I'm Max Scoville, joined by my good pal Brian Altano, and we are joined by Ian Frazier, who is the creative director from EA Motive, working on Star Wars Squadrons, a brand new space fighting game set in a galaxy far, far away. Ian, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing okay. I'm happy there's new Star Wars games on the horizon. First things first. A lot of people, I think, that we've seen Starfighter games in the past. We've seen plenty of them. Can you talk a little bit about what sets Squadrons apart from previous games, especially what sets it apart from the Fighter Squadron mode in the Battlefront games?
Yeah, so there's two big things. The first is the fundamental gameplay. With Squadrons, we're trying to do something that focuses on immersion and depth. So it's a game that is from a first-person perspective and that has a lot of degree of control over the ships. So you have things like power management, moving between the different systems, or controlling your shields individually. The flight model is very robust, and all the ships handle a little bit differently. We're trying to do something that you can figure out how to get target and shoot lasers pretty quickly, but really getting into it and getting a high skill takes a while as you kind of learn all the ropes and learn the different ins and outs. So we're aiming for something that's very crunchy as far as experience goes. The other thing are the modes themselves. So you asked the question about Battlefront 2 Starfighter Assault. Those modes are all asymmetric. So one team on the offense and defense. Our PvP modes, we have a couple of them. One is dogfight, which is a real basic, go blow up the enemy spaceships, and whoever blows up the most wins. So if you want something light and simple to hop into, that's really nice. Once players play the game a bit, they unlock another mode called Fleet Battles, and Fleet Battles are more of our large-scale mode. It's still 5 players versus 5 players, but they're supported by fleets of AI ships, both fighters and capital ships. And there, it's much more of a, first it is symmetrical. Each side has an equal footing between the different capital ships and things, at least at the start. And then you have this sort of back and forth tug of war over the course of the match based on the players' actions. And you're always kind of trying to divide who's focusing on fighting other players, who's focusing on objectives, and so on. It's a really kind of fluid experience.
No, that's awesome, and it sounded like Max's dog was doing some dog fighting back there too.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut the door and have him put to sleep.
At $40, this is a budget price game. I'm wondering what the sort of decision behind that is, because this is obviously one of the biggest franchises in the world. What sort of sparked that idea to basically reduce the price by $20 from what we're used to paying for a traditional AAA video game?
It's two things, really. The first is that Squadrons is a really focused experience. We're not trying to be all things to all people. We're a pilot game for players who want to hop into the cockpit, and that's all, but we want to do that really well. And so part of it's that. And the other part is just that we've always had kind of a, we say gift to the fans is something that's come up a lot as we work on this game. Obviously, we're a business. We need to have some money come in when we sell a game. But at the same time, we wanted to have the kind of the amount of value you get for the game feel generous. So like you pick this up and this is as much or more than you expected relative to what you put in. And so just across the board with our no MTX strategy, as well as the $40 price point, we want something where you pick it up and you just feel good about it.
Now, you said no MTX strategy. I think that's that's a group of words that I think a lot of people understand. But to completely sort of hit the hammer, nail on the head here, there are no microtransactions in this game. I feel like that.
Yeah, sorry, I should be clear about that. None at all. Yeah, yeah. It's we looked at possible different ways we could do the game. We certainly considered that, but in the end, again, that idea of feeling generous to the fans, feeling like something that the best way I could put it is it's kind of an old school mentality. You gave us your money. Here is the box. Yep. We hope you like what's in the box. Enjoy it. And so no microtransactions at all. Like you can't give us money to unlock things if you want to. Not even an option.
What if I see you on the street?
I mean, I'll personally take it. Like unmarked bills, brown paper bag, whatever works. But the company won't.
Got it.
Now, what's cool about this, though, is that there is a ton of customization and cosmetic options. Can you speak a little bit about that and sort of how robust that will be, both in terms of, I guess, character customization and ship customization?
Yeah, it is, as you say, both. It's both the character themselves. So when you start the game, you create 2 pilots, one for each faction. And those are the same characters that you'll play in multiplayer. So it kind of, you start off and you do the campaign and they run through that. When you go into the multiplayer, it's those same characters. Your initial options of how you customize them are much more limited. It's, a handful of heads, body types and things. Once you get into PvP, you start unlocking more options. So you start getting, alien heads, and you get more different outfits and things. So whereas your experience begins with like, this is the classic Rebel flight suit, this is the classic TIE fighter outfit, or TIE pilot outfit. By the time you get into multiplayer, you can change that up more, both with the outfit your character's wearing, with their actual head, which can change their species to other aliens and things, in addition to just different looks. We have, actually right from the beginning, we have voice packs. So think like some of the older school RPGs, where you're actually deciding like, I want to be the smarmy one. You pick that, and then your voice will reflect that kind of personality. And that's obviously you can use voice over IP, but we have sort of canned stuff in the game as well. So a player who doesn't want to be on the mic has a way to communicate, and it'll use that voice pack. So you have that from the outset. In PvP, you start getting into not only more pilot stuff, which is fun, but also, and there's things like victory poses after you win a match, other stuff like that highlights your pilot, just fun stuff. But separately, we have the ship customization. So there's the outside, obviously. We have different paint jobs and decals you can use to make your ship look like how you want. One of the fun things there that we're expecting to see, because we see it with our internal testing, is players deliberately like, we're all going to be we're all, Green Squadron. We're all going to take that particular paint job or decal and try to match, which is fun. And then we also let you customize the inside of the cockpit, which is my personal favorite, partially because, it's a first-person dogfighter. You spend your time in the cockpit, so it's nice to be able to dress that up. But also, there's some fun stuff there. You got the the bobble-headed Ewok, which is reacting to physics, and just well, I don't want to spoil them all, but they're a lot of fun.
So there will be sort of unlockable things that you can put inside the ship too. That's super cool to hear.
Yeah.
Now, was there obviously you guys are big Star Wars fans? Was there a specific space battle in one of the films, or sort of like TV shows or anything like that like was kind of the core inspiration here, or is it more of just like a blanket approach to Star Wars ship battles? Like, was there one that really stuck out specifically for you guys?
I wouldn't say from an inspirational standpoint that there was. It wasn't like we went, it's that fight, that specific fight's what we want. I do think that we've seen a lot of different big inspirations from the films. We took, I think this was actually before we even started pre-pro. I'm trying to remember when this was now. When Last Jedi came out, we all went and watched that as a team. And seeing that opening maneuver where Poe is flying around the capital ships, and you see him, go under the shields and take this big kind of risk-reward maneuver. That's an example of a thing that inspired a mechanic for us. In Squadrons, you actually can fly under the shields, and there's sort of pros and cons to doing that. So that's a moment that directly inspired even a mechanic. As far as the general sort of choreography of the game, a lot of the stuff, obviously the original films are our biggest sources of inspiration. We're very much, there's a lot of nostalgia coming together in the design of the game and the feel of the game. But I think what Rogue One did, a lot of the space battle stuff from Rogue One is just outstanding. So I think we were inspired by that in a lot of ways. And obviously the addition of the U-Wing to our roster of ships is also because of that film.
Now, obviously there's going to be a ton of stuff to do in terms of multiplayer. Can you speak to how long the story campaign is?
It varies quite a bit from player to player, both just as a player, but also based on difficulty mode. We're still in the process of testing, so I'm very hesitant to go throwing out specific numbers, but we're trying to land on something that it feels still satisfying, but doesn't overstay its welcome. And I think I'm pretty happy with where we're at now, but not comfortable throwing out a number just yet.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Well, Ian, thank you so much for coming by and chatting. Star Wars Squadrons is out October 2nd, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
That is on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Are there any plans for next-gen consoles?
We support the backwards compatibility, but there's no specific SKU for the next gen planned right now.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
and you're coming
awesome.
to VR, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, awesome. Actually, yeah, it's both on PC and PS4. More details on the specifics later, but I am really excited to say that it's the whole game. PvP, single player, all of it. If you want to play in VR, you can. You can even switch back and forth on the fly.
Well, sweet. Ian, thank you so much for chatting. I am looking forward to jumping in a cockpit in Star Wars Squadrons later this year.
Awesome.
This is it, Titan Squadron. Everything we've done has led to this. Finish those Vanguard scum!
This is Star Wars Squadrons.